This podcast is brought to you by lineupmedia.fm.
Wilner and O'Reilly Immigration Lawyers was founded in 2003 by Richard M. Wilner and Kelly S. O'Reilly. Richard is board certified as a specialist in immigration law by the State Bar of California. Kelly is a former immigration officer with the INS. Together, they lead a team of accomplished lawyers and legal professionals who serve clients in every aspect of immigration law. 7 offices, 50 team members, all dedicated to one thing: making immigration law great again. Immigration law is not just a practice area within their firm, it is their only practice. Whether you are an elite international athlete, entertainer, Fortune 500 company, small business, or individual, you have the same access to badass lawyering. Anytime, anywhere, they will get it done. Call them toll-free at 888-352-7064 to schedule an appointment or check them out at wilneroreilly.com.
The following podcast is a TJ DeSantis production. Comments, questions, and inquiries can be sent to DeSantisProd@gmail.com.
You know what they say about one bad apple? Well, we've got 2. It's American Animals. All your favorite athletes, entertainers, and weirdos are coming to you like you've never heard them before. Join Erik, Bad Apple, and Ian, Uncle Creepy McCall. American Animals. Get some.
Welcome to American Animals, episode 31, with none other than Erik Apple and Ian McCall over there. What's going on, animals? Welcome back. We have our crew together for the first time in a while.
It's been a while. You know, I've been busy and sick, and I died. Felt like I died. And then last week, I literally woke up at 9 in the morning. I was like, okay, cool. I got to get up for the day. And then I woke up again, and it was like 5 o'clock whenever we were doing the show, and I was like, yeah, I'm not coming. I literally just woke up again. I've been sleeping for like 20 hours.
Well, you know, with your medical experiences the last couple of weeks, we understand, and thank God we had Richard Wilner from our new sponsor, Wilner and O'Reilly, on the show with us, and stoked to have them on board.
When you hear just lawyer, you think like it's going to be fucking boring, immigration lawyer, but he's been around the sport forever.
No, Richard knows the sport 100%. He's managed a bunch of the biggest fighters in the world.
So he's has a much more in-depth knowledge. We wouldn't just bring on some fucking random lawyer.
Of course,
of course. A guy who knows a lot of shit, knows a lot of people, and has helped a lot of people in this industry and you know, in what he does. It's awesome.
Understood. Yep. He's definitely was a great asset to the show last week. Helped us out a lot, and he's helping us out moving forward as a sponsor. So we're stoked. Again, if you guys need help with any immigration law, check out Wilner and O'Reilly on our website, or check out our social media for links to them as well.
It's got to be, you know, becoming more and more big business with the way fucking things are going in this country.
Oh, he said their phones have been off.
I mean,
the
it's got to be the best version of law to be in right now, right?
For sure. I would imagine, for sure. Okay, so let's catch people up to what's going on.
Yes.
Everyone knows, Ian, that a week and a half ago, after making weight for your fight at UFC 208, that you were pulled because of medical conditions. Now, a lot of people thought that you had a bad weight cut, but that's not true.
No. It's the weight cut's the easy part. It's my body shutting down after said weight cut. And we don't know what it is. You know, we thought Ireland was food poisoning. But if you go as far back to my first fight with John Lineker in Brazil, I ended up in the hospital with a blood infection. So, you know, since then, I mean, because I had my MRSA in my hand, and since then, I don't know. Maybe who knows how far back this goes or what's really fucking wrong with me. But we thought it was food poisoning in Ireland, but I also was in the hospital a few times before that fight with some passing out and some throwing up issues. So that compounded with food poisoning made maybe a really horrible version of food poisoning. And then whatever happened in New York, man, I made the weight so easily. I had changed up my training a whole bunch. I've been doing a lot of work in the pool, cardio-wise. My body felt amazing. I mean, you saw me in the gym. Yep. I was looking great. It felt great. The last day of training, holy shit. I mean, last day of sparring, I fucking was smashing people. And it was people that I had brought in for a new opponent that were exactly like this guy. Just tiny, fast 15-pounders that were good wrestlers, that were really quick. And I was just, you know, I was banging on people, and it was good. The weight cut was super easy. I mean, you usually start your weight cut 24 hours before weigh-ins. So if weigh-ins are on Friday at 9 in the morning, you stop drinking water 9 in the morning on Thursday, which I did, And then by the time it was time to cut weight, I and I had eaten small meals throughout the day, just a couple. And then I did my weight cut, and I had only had 5.8 to go. So usually I'm about 12 pounds over at that point. I was 5.5 pounds, so it was like nothing. I lost 5 pounds just working out that night. I drilled, and then I sat in the sauna, and I screwed around a little bit. The sauna, the spa, sauna, spa.
So really not too much sweat. You didn't really have to sit in the sauna for hours like everyone else does.
And I lost fucking 5 pounds.
Yep.
So I'm sitting there like, dude, this is so easy. I go back upstairs. I only have 0.8 to go, and my body was like hyper metabolism. My metabolism was going so fast that I was still peeing a whole bunch, and I ate a salad, and I had half of a salad left. And I could only get through about a quarter or about half of that, so a quarter of a salad. And then I threw up. I didn't feel good, so I put it aside. Then I threw it up, and I'm like, okay, maybe it was a dress thing. Maybe I'm just so low already that I'm 126 pounds barely, So let's maybe I just shouldn't have put that in my stomach. So yeah. I ended up eating, or I ate about a whole cup of almonds, which is like 35 almonds. And then I had 5 cups of ice water throughout the night. I'm drinking water the night before weigh-ins, which is I've never done that before.
Yep.
The weight cut was that easy. So I wake up in the morning, so I have energy. I drank the water, ate the almonds, and I made the weight super easy. I actually made championship weight to prove a point that I can make the weight. That's people have doubted me in the past.
As usual,
I always make championship weight, because I can. And then I go to rehydrate and everything, and my body wouldn't ingest anything. I mean, I got down one of the fight formulas. I got down a water, and then I got down part of a coconut water. The fight formula is the stuff that UFC gives you after to rehydrate really well. It's got everything in it. I actually showed it to my nutritionist, and he's like, damn, this has everything in it except for like 1 or 2 things that I would put in that are a little bit different. But he's like, this is really good shit. So, and then I literally took a half an inch bite of a banana. That made me throw up. I threw up all the water that I had in me, and then I started, and this is in front of everybody. This is at medicals, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I drank too much water too fast. Like I tried to play it off, and then every time I would eat or drink something, I would throw it up. So then the UFC comes in, gives me 2 IV bags, therapeutic use exemption, because I needed it. Who knew if I was going to fight? The next morning, I wake up.
Well, and let's clear that up because I know there's some people who are weirded out by this. Yeah. Listen, if the doctors say that it is necessary because of your health to get a IV, then it's absolutely acceptable for both per USADA and per UFC rules.
Jeff Nowitzki and Dr. Davidson were bedside. Like I had woken up with them sitting on my bed talking about what the fuck they were going to do with me. Like they were watching over me, took extremely good care of me. And I thank them for that. They are really good people. Like I've become friends with Jeff Nowitzki. And so then they gave me 2 IV bags. I went to bed a little bit. I actually slept, which was weird. And because I usually don't sleep really much, and I didn't have any food in me, so it's hard to sleep in so many calories. But I actually did sleep. I woke up in the morning at only 5 over. So the UFC had given me 2 IV bags, and that's just over 2 pounds, or just over 4 pounds. They're just over 2 pounds each. So I have a little over 4 pounds of water in me from the IV.
Because you can't throw up an IV.
Yeah. And so my body had only ingested maybe a pound of liquids.
Okay.
Maybe some fucking who knows what scraps of food were left in my stomach. And then the next day I'm trying to eat and but I keep throwing everything up. So finally they come back in the room, and I called them in, and I'm like, hey, give me some Zofran, because I was talking to one of my doctors out here, and he said, you need Zofran for your stomach so you can eat, and get some more IV bags in you, and then see if you can eat, and then maybe you can fight. Well, there's only like 8 hours left till the fight, 6 hours left. So finally they're like, no, man, like you're not fighting. Like I'm like I can do it. I'm like I have energy right now. Like you haven't ingested any nutrients in 48 hours. Everything you took in, you threw up. So your body's fucked up right now.
So compare this to your experience. Well, first of all, let's step back. So just so people understand, This is the second time this has happened with you.
In a row.
All the other times your fights didn't happen, it was your opponent's fault.
Yeah, the other 3 times were their fault. It wasn't my fault.
So this is only 2 for Ian. Now explain. Can you compare this to your experience in Ireland? Was it very similar?
No, it was different because in Ireland I had to throw something up. Like I had to get it out of my body. That's why it felt like such bad food poisoning. And I was really cold. I was really cold, and I was shivering, and it was really weird and gnarly. Where in New York, I had more body pain. My gallbladder was hurting so bad. That's why I almost had gallbladder surgery. I almost had it in New York. Which thank God they didn't have to take that out. But then again, that leads us back into having no idea what's going on with me.
So far, you've been through multiple tests.
Yeah.
And how are they testing your blood?
Blood, hair, urine. They're testing a bunch of shit.
Have you had to give them your shit yet?
No. They haven't stuck anything in my butt yet.
So at some point, you're going to shit in a bag and give it to them?
Yes, I'm sure.
Yes.
But this is the only shit. This is the shitty part, no pun intended, that UFC called me today as I was in a specialist office, and they're like, listen, we can't cover you. Like, we covered everything in New York, like Dana, and they had a talk, and then thank you for that. I'm not mean to be mad. I'm not mad at UFC. It's just the medical business.
Well, I mean, over the experience of all these fights falling through, they've gone above and beyond with you.
Yes, they've paid me a lot of money, and they have also taken care of me medically. So at this point, you know what? They can't help me anymore, which I'll figure it out. I always do.
Well, my advice to you is as my friend, I would say, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what the results are of these tests. Let's see what because we don't know what's wrong with you.
We're taking a holistic approach at this point. We've done a lot of tests that showed my levels. You know, certain levels of my body are way off, in both directions, too low, too high, whatever it is. So we're gonna do.
You do have levels, and what levels are off?
I have to show you. I need to read the chart. I have a meeting with the person either tomorrow or Friday to go over everything more in depth.
Okay.
And I don't want to. Fuck. It's just information.
You don't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah, I haven't heard yet. Once I hear someone say it, I'll be able to parrot it back to you guys. And I just don't like sounding like a fucking idiot, which I will if I talk about it. But it's like metals in your system and other stuff they test for in hair.
Okay.
And certain, I don't know, vitamins, minerals, shit like that. Trace minerals. So I'm just trying to figure this out, and maybe I can find some doctors that'll work with me, because I know they're going to want to do another endoscopy.
What is that?
Just stick a camera down my throat.
Okay.
They're going to want to put a camera in my ass and see what's in there.
I'll help with that. I'll help with that.
You should spit on it first.
I mean, it's only I have to be courteous.
But that shit's expensive. My last endoscopy was like a couple grand, and I'm like, fuck, I can't. Sorry, I can't afford to do another one on my own. I got a fucking family to feed, and I don't make that much money. So that's life, though. So right now I'm gonna do my damnedest to educate myself and figure out what's wrong. It could be something as easy as there's too many metals in my system, or this or that, or fucking who knows.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and fix it. I'm always.
It could be as
healthy.
easy as something that you just need to cut out. Like, hey, I need to stop ingesting this, and then I'll be better.
I'm allergic to eggs, or fuck, who knows.
Okay.
So I'll figure this out. This is just for my life and my health in general, because this is how I live. It's very healthy.
No.
I helped fix my daughter's disease with her health, and my girlfriend's disease, and my own, surgeries, and just being healthy. It's my whole life. So I'll figure it out. I'm not counting out fighting, but right now it's
right now we need to get your health under control,
and
then we'll make a decision on what you're going to do and when you're going to do it.
Exactly, because it's not going to be anytime soon. Well, I got to figure this out.
So that means more story time with Uncle Creepy,
way more story
and
time
more American animals.
Yes, I'm going to focus on the shows. I got a stern talking to from Mr. Joe Rogan, the Mr. Joe Rogan.
He gave you a stern. What did he say?
Well, him and Brendan Schaub are the reason why I have these shows. The reason why I really tried to do them.
I thought I helped you.
You did, but that was the reason why I.
Am I just a bystander?
I thought about doing it. You made it happen, but you know what I'm saying. The reason why I was like, fuck it, maybe I can't do this.
I'm just kidding.
And they both were like, dude, hey, you're doing good, but like you're not really trying hard. like because you're fighting. When I first started doing the shows, I didn't know I was gonna fight again.
Yeah.
And so then the fights came back, and I focused on that more. But now that I have to focus on my health, like I was before,
I've been a one-man show for like 6 months or 8 months.
So
I don't even know what it's going to be like for you to contribute. I'll be like, dang.
So
wait, that guy's going to do something more than just show up and look good?
Yeah. And so now I can focus, because when people are like, oh well, you're not going to focus on.
You can't do anything else. If you're fighting, I mean, so at least, so here's a good thing about us is your co-host understands.
Yes.
Because somebody else would be like, well, why aren't you doing anything? But I get it. Like, cause, listen, if I had...
that shows I actually was trying. I was working my ass off.
If I had a fight coming up in 2 months, I wouldn't fucking be working on this. I wouldn't be on YouTube every day, posting shit on Twitter, on Instagram, posting our stuff. Because
now I got to learn to do all this shit. So yes, people, I will bring you much more content, because in all reality, this could be the only time you see me ever again is on here. Or, in some other form of entertainment like this. You never know. So let's figure it out, and we're going to do a lot more shows. I have a mobile unit where I'll be doing mobile shit. That'll be, who knows what the fuck me and Alicia get into with that.
Did TJ show you how to use it?
No, but I need to really sit down and work on it. My kid's been sick, and Alicia's been sick, and I've been sick, so it's like fucking...
Man, you got a sob story over there. You guys got to get your shit together.
We're getting our shit together. Everyone feels better now, so we're all good.
Okay, well, now we're caught up to date.
Yes, but realistically, life's fine. I'm good.
We'll get your health together and we'll move forward.
I'll figure it out.
Guys, we're going to go to break, our first break here in just a minute. Hey, but don't forget, later on, we're got a little secret for you. I got Rashad Evans coming on the show today.
Which is exciting, because people don't know how awesome he is. He's such a fucking good dude, and he's such an intelligent guy. And he's just well-spoken and just a good dude. And, such a world-class athlete, so it's good to talk to.
We got some awesome guests, and he's another one in the long line of them. So we got Rashad Evans coming on. Also, next week, Chris Cyborg agreed to come on the show, and she's going to come in the studio and hang out with us. So that's going to be really good. And
the more FaceTime we can get her out there in the world, she needs, because she needs to show that.
I want her to share her story and share her side of what's going on, because she was recently cleared by USADA and the UFC, but we also want to hear it from her, because a lot of fans are still doubting her and calling her a cheater, which I don't agree with.
If people don't know, Jeff Nowitzki is a fucking savage.
He's a hard ass.
That guy does his job to an annoying degree, but you need that when someone does that job. They need to be in everyone's fucking business and getting shit done. And that's what he does. So you need to respect what that man says when it comes to people fucking up or getting caught for certain things, because those tests are so over the top, in depth.
For sure.
They find everything in your system. Everything.
If Nowitzki says you're good to fight, you're clean. I'm pretty sure.
He's ran the numbers, and he's talked to a bunch of doctors, and they're smarter than we are.
For
so
sure.
Just take what they say.
Okay, guys, we're going to come back in just a minute. Remember, find us at the number 2 American Animals. That's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. That's on YouTube. Also, you can support us on Patreon and find our website, www.2americananimals.com. All of our shows are on there and links to our sponsors. We'll be back in just a minute. Erik Apple and Ian McCall hanging out. We'll be back, and we'll go over some results from the past weekend's fights. Welcome back to American Animals, and it's time for Erik Apple and Ian McCall to talk about the news of the week. And, I mean, one of the first things we got to get to is, goddamn, George St. Pierre is back.
I guess so, right? I mean,
he's signed, sealed, and delivered.
So he's with the company, but hasn't signed to an actual fight yet.
Yes, so he has a fight contract. So he has a contract, not a bout agreement.
Yes.
So they're talking about all kinds of things now.
Because who doesn't? I loved watching George St. Pierre.
Well, and we all knew it was bullshit when WME-IMG said, "Oh, well, we're not sure if the fans today know who you are. We don't want to spend the money to reach you." But come on. Well, listen, with Conor doing who knows what, taking a vacation or boxing, and with Ronda saying bye-bye, they fucking need GSP. I bet he got a sweet deal. Dude, I bet he got a sweet deal, and I bet he's stoked that he didn't sign it 2 months ago. I bet he's stoked he signed it now.
Very, very true. And they'll probably bring him in to fight Bisping or something.
Well, okay, let's talk about the possibilities.
Bisping or...
A lot of people think that fighting Bisping at 185 is the best case scenario, which I don't really understand, because he's never fought at 185. And
he used to fight at 185 in Canada, right?
I don't believe so. I believe it's always been 170. I might be wrong, but I don't believe so. That's a good matchup for both guys. Bisping will say, I'm the bigger, better striker, and I have good takedown defense, so Bisping feels good about that fight. So, but let's talk about the other possibilities. GSP could fight Tyron Woodley at 170. Well, the winner of Tyron Woodley is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
And they want that money fight.
And that seems like a good matchup.
Yep.
And Conor has, and GSP has said more than once that he can make 155, which means obviously he's lining himself up for the big money fight with Conor McGregor. Now,
that would be,
all three of those are pretty enticing for me. Any one of those looks pretty good to me.
I would love to watch any one of those fights.
Now, Conor McGregor versus GSP would be
huge.
The biggest. Would for sure be the biggest pay-per-view ever.
Yeah. What needs to happen, I think, first?
Pay-per-view. I'm sorry. Biggest pay-per-view in MMA.
Conor needs to fight Floyd first. Okay. Let him fight Floyd this year. He'll get one fight in this year. He'll fight Floyd by the end of the year. Okay. That'll make WME and IMG a fucking huge profit. That'll pay off a quarter of your debt. I'm sure. That'll give you $500 million in the bank.
Well, we're going to talk about that later.
Then Conor comes back and fights GSP.
It'd be a big fight. So. Now, let's say that GSP fights Bisping.
Yeah.
Now, that throws a total monkey wrench in the middleweight division because Romero's already waiting to fight. He's been waiting to fight, and they've already talked some shit.
Yeah.
And you know that... I
would love to see them pass him up, though, just because he's a fucking cheater.
And then Bisping also has, some unfinished business. Jacare wants to fight him. He's been asking to fight him. I mean...
And he looked good the other night with Tim Boach.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, Bisping's already been accused of ducking Romero and Jacare. I'm not going to say whether he is or not, but it's understandable if he is.
Yes. They're both scary. I was cutting weight with Jacare talking about him and Glover. I love those dudes. They're so funny.
Oh, yeah. I like Glover a lot. But on the other side, if you're Michael Bisping... Fuck Jacare and Yoel Romero. I'm fighting George St. Pierre. You guys eat a dick.
Yeah, exactly. This guy's going to make me 10 times the money, and he's a lot less dangerous than either one of you motherfuckers.
Fuck yeah. You guys eat a dick. I'm out of here.
Yeah. He's a head taller than you and 50 pounds lighter.
So listen. Is it fair to Jacare or Yoel Romero to have to wait even longer? No, it's not fair. But at the end of the day, Michael Bisping's been a veteran, been fighting a long time.
Yep.
He's a champion. Mm-hmm. He's fought everyone there is a fight. Has the guy earned the opportunity to have a money fight against somebody who's not in line? Yes.
I say so, especially from a business standpoint.
Yeah, he's earned it.
And WME need to get a return, and people don't give a fuck.
Well, it's not even about WME. It's about Michael Bisping. It's time for him to make a seven-figure payday.
It's true. And
even though I'm pretty sure he's not hurting for money.
The only way he's going to make that payday is with GSP. He's not going to make it off Romero or Jacare.
Yep. Okay. So let's move on. We were talking about Mayweather and Conor.
Yes.
Now... in the news today, we've seen Freddie Roach has been in the news talking about how he also helped get GSP's deal done with an agent through CAA, and they kind of helped out. Supposedly, I don't know, GSP's management wasn't getting along with Dana and or the UFC, so they had somebody else come in and assist. They got the deal done, so good for them.
Yeah,
but.
Which is it needed to happen. So.
Freddie Roach is also involved in this Mayweather and Conor thing because Freddie Roach is talking about that he's totally willing to train Conor. And what happened is Floyd Mayweather and them, they hit up Freddie Roach and they told him, look, if Conor comes to you. You help him, motherfucker. Yeah. You better help him.
Yeah,
because we want to make this fight. We want to sell this fight. We want to get it done. If Freddie Roach's coach is in Conor's corner, it's going to be even bigger and better.
Freddie Roach is the greatest boxing coach of all time.
One of, for sure. Definitely one of the best coaches around now.
Yeah.
There's some people that argue with you, but you can't really argue that.
Yeah.
That fight's looking more and more realistic. It's been in the news a lot,
yes. And both ends have talked about it talked about it so much.
With as much as it's in the news, I can't imagine that this is just bullshit hype to keep their names in the news if they don't really plan on making it happen.
No, because there's too much money involved. They're both going to make at least $25 million.
Oh, well, no, hold on. That was what Dana offered. But Dana's not putting the fight together.
I'm just saying they're going to make it. They're both going to make at least $25 million.
Oh, for sure.
So
they'll make way more.
It's going to happen.
They're going to make way more.
It's going to happen.
That's what Dana offered. But Dana's not. Here's what's happening is. The money team, Floyd Mayweather Promotions, is putting together with Conor, and then what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to break off Zuffa. They're going to have to break off the UFC. Who knows how much money? Who knows? It could be 10% of Conor's money or 50% of his. Who knows how much it's going to be? But it's going to be a significant amount of money.
Of course.
So they're going to make some money out because Conor has nothing to lose. Floyd's the only one with anything to lose.
Exactly.
But the reality of Conor being able to really hurt Floyd, and stop him from getting his 50th professional win, which they say that number is a curse. first. You can't get to 50. Marciano stopped at 49. So we'll see.
Yeah, because curses are real. But you just look at it from the perspective of the sheer numbers of money. How much they're going to make. It's going to be insane. If you have the marketing machine that is UFC.
It'll make hundreds of millions.
You have the marketing machine that is Conor McGregor. You have the marketing machine that is WME. You have the marketing machine that is Floyd Mayweather. And now they're trying to get Freddie Roach involved. I mean, this is just becomes this crazy hyperbole of just... It's going to happen. It's going to be fucking awesome. And I think that...
Did you say hyperbole?
Hyperbole.
Hyperbole?
Hyperbole.
I don't know what a hyperbole. Like a Super Bowl?
Hyperbole.
Yes.
That's what he means. He means hyperbole.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's got so much going on. Think how much money they can make.
Oh, it's going to be hundreds and hundreds of millions.
Exactly. If they like, I keep going back to the fact that they took.
It could rival Pacquiao and Floyd, which did almost 4 million pay-per-view buys.
Like it's 4.8 million. That's insane.
Like that. Well, it started with the number 4. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
At $100 a pop too.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy.
So good for them. Fuck it.
This could definitely be bigger.
It's crazy to think of the money that could bring in, and it's good for everybody involved. There's no reason not to do it as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
If Conor loses, who fucking cares? He went out there, made 50, 75, $100 million.
He make $25 million. It's fucking worth it.
So okay, let's move on. Chris Cyborg is cleared by USADA and the UFC.
Yes.
And we're going to have her on the show here next week to tell her side of the story. There's still some fans out there kind of hating, talking shit. But overall, look, Chris Cyborg is the #1 women's fighter in the world at any weight class. She must have been laughing when she saw Holly Holm fight Germaine de Randamie. Now, both those girls are tough girls, great fighters. I'm not trying to rip on them, but they're not going to fight with Chris. They're not going to last.
No, they're all fucked. And
they're all fucked.
And it's like, again, it's nothing against Germaine or Holly, but they're just holding her place in line.
Just being real
all
here.
They're doing. They're going to get fucking smashed.
And we talked about last week with Richard, but it's so funny that right after the fight, Germaine de Randamie, she was talking about how good she felt to win, da-da-da-da. And as soon as Chris Cyborg's name came up, she was like, oh, well, my hand's hurt. I got to have surgery. I can't fight for a while.
Can't do it.
Can't fight her for a while, which I laughed. Then... at the post-fight press conference, she was like, yeah, I think I should have an immediate rematch with Holly. It's like, you just fucking said you were hurt.
You just said, exactly. I thought you can't do that. What the fuck are you talking about? It's very apparent, even if it's not the words coming out of their mouths, that nobody wants to take that beating because they're all going to get the shit kicked out of them.
Pretty funny. Let's see what else is going on in the sports world this week. Man, you see... Junior Dos Santos is going to be fighting Stipe Miocic.
Yes, which is awesome.
It's going to be a fun fight because JDS won when he fought Stipe Miocic before.
He won the actual decision, but it was a close fight.
But they've had a lot going back with him and Fabricio Verdum. Have you noticed that lately in the news?
Yes.
Because remember, they fought a long time ago. That was Junior Dos Santos' debut in UFC years ago. And
knocked him the fuck out, right?
He knocked out Fabricio, but that was before Fabricio had any stand-up training. He was a straight jiu-jitsu guy. Things are a lot different now, but he's claimed that Verdum's turned down fights to them 2 or 3 times recently. I know that they tried to put in Junior Dos Santos last minute against Verdum when Kane dropped out.
Yes.
And Fabricio said, I'll do it, but you got to pay me more. You got to give me part of the pay-per-view. I'm not going to change my opponent last minute. I kind of understand. I would think Fabricio would want that fight back. I know that.
Yeah, and I get the cash grab, but like
you got to
try. But still, it's.
I hate not even trying.
There was enough time where he shouldn't have. I remember that one. She should have taken that.
Yeah. Also, Thiago Alves is welterweight fight going to be against Patrick Cote,
which is a fucking great fight. Patrick Cote, when he's on point, is a badass.
Yeah,
he's such a fun guy to watch.
That's going to be a good fight coming up. Another good exciting fight that we're going to see coming up here is it's not for a few more months, but man, Jose Aldo and Max Holloway is going to be an awesome featherweight fight. Man, as much as I want Max to win, fighting Jose Aldo is a fucking tall order. Man, he's so good. It's going to be tough.
I think that Max has the momentum for sure.
It's going to be tough.
He has the momentum for sure.
Jose's looked good lately. I mean, he
the way he beat the shit out of Frankie Edgar, he's fucking looking on point.
And the funny thing is Max is claiming that Aldo was afraid to stand with him, and he goes, I'll bet he'll be turned into a wrestler, which I don't know about that. I mean, if you can pull it, I mean, look, I love the way Max Holloway fights. He's tough. But turning Jose Aldo, trying to say he's going to be afraid to stand with you, I don't know about that.
I like what he's doing, though.
Yeah?
I like how he's attacking Aldo all over the place, fucking talking shit. Because, the Brazilians do things in a weird way. They do.
Yeah.
They're very strange in the way they do business. And if you can exploit it, because, look what happened in fucking when Aldo lost to McGregor. He got sucked in. So if you can play with him mentally and make him make more mistakes and rush into shit like he did before, then sure.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way, but you're right. Good point.
It seems easy. It seems very, very easy to fuck with them mentally.
It's a good point. Another thing, I want to switch gears to boxing right now. We're still a couple months away, but Canelo Alvarez, the great Mexican boxer, maybe one of the greatest Mexican boxers of all time. Yeah, they love him down there. Canelo means cinnamon. Saul Canelo Alvarez, he's going to be fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who obviously
who is a badass
because of his dad's great name. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has done really well in boxing as well, and doesn't quite have the record.
He's a three-time champ.
He is, but he's had some ups and downs. Remember?
I know.
Didn't he fail a test for weed and he had to pay like millions or something?
$2 million, I think.
Yeah, something crazy like that. Jeez. So listen to this. So they're fighting May 6th. Oscar and Golden Boy Promotions always likes to put on a big fight out there for Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
This is great. Listen to this shit. Canelo and Chavez have gone back and forth so much, they have now publicly made a bet that they will bet their entire purse against each other. So winner takes all. Wow. If I lose, I don't make shit.
How much is the purse?
I mean, it's got to be in the
tens of millions or a couple million.
Canelo's making tens of millions. Yeah. I don't know if Cesar Chavez Jr. is making tens, but he's making some millions.
Yeah.
Now,
where's the fight going to be? Home Depot Center?
No, it's in Vegas at T-Mobile Arena.
Oh.
So that's pretty big deal. Straight up, I'll bet all my money against you.
That's fucking awesome.
That's dope.
I like that a lot.
Also, listen to this shit. Because Cesar Chavez Jr. has had problems making weight, there is a $1 million per pound penalty.
Yep.
Holy shit. You're 2 pounds over? $2 million, motherfucker. God damn. That is not, I never heard of anything like that. That's no joke.
This is the biggest Mexican pay-per-view probably ever. I guess since his dad fought.
Yeah,
this is huge.
This is a big deal.
This is with in the modern day era with social media and the way everything is, this could be fucking.
It'll make the most money of any all Mexican fight probably ever.
Yeah,
but can you believe this?
Yeah,
$1 million a pound.
I know. And is all the money? So is just the purse money being put up? So they're both getting pay-per-view money. So they're both going to, how much? What are they? I want to know the ins and outs of this bet. I want to know how much they're putting down. I want to know.
Well,
I like it.
It's dope.
I fucking like the idea.
Oscar's tweeted about it. He just said that they have bet their purse, and it's been confirmed by both sides.
That's fucking awesome. I'm
reading about it right now. What do you think of that, TJ? Have you ever heard anything like that? Guys betting their entire multi-million-dollar purse. Have you ever heard that happening in boxing?
No. The only people I've ever heard betting multi-million dollars are poker players and their weird prop bets.
This is crazy to see. I mean, can you imagine, like, for either guy to go spend, to do all this and then lose and not make any money? I would imagine it doesn't include their pay-per-view cut.
That's what I'm saying.
So it just says their purse.
Yeah, they're still going to walk away with
a lot of money. Yeah,
fucking millions.
Okay. So,
because even if that one does a couple million pay-per-view buys.
Yeah, but those guys get a bigger chunk.
But that's what I'm saying. Let's say they pull out 2 million pay-per-view buys for this one, because you never know, they could. They could easily do that. So
yeah, internationally for sure.
That they can both make fucking tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm interested to see the fight. I mean, I imagine
the two biggest Mexican superstars.
I imagine Canelo's going to fucking eat them alive.
I think so,
but
too.
You never know.
Chavez is good, but Canelo's
it's in his blood. It's in his blood, but no one's fucking with Canelo. All right, we're gonna go one more break. Yes. We're gonna come back with our last segment. We're gonna talk about UFC 209. It's a big card coming up. You guys are hanging out with American Animals, Ian McCall and Erik Apple. We'll be back in just a minute. Wilner and O'Reilly Immigration Lawyers was founded in 2003 by Richard M. Wilner and Kelly S. O'Reilly. Richard is board certified as a specialist in immigration law by the State Bar of California. Kelly is a former immigration officer with the INS. Together, they lead a team of accomplished lawyers and legal professionals who serve clients in every aspect of immigration law. 7 offices, 50 team members, all dedicated to one thing: making immigration law great again. Immigration law is not just a practice area within their firm, it is their only practice. Whether you are an elite international athlete, entertainer, Fortune 500 company, small business, or individual, you have the same access to badass lawyering. Anytime, anywhere, they will get it done. Call them toll-free at 888-352-7064 to schedule an appointment or check them out at WilnerO'Reilly.com. Welcome back to American Animals. You were hanging out, as always, with Erik Apple and Ian Uncle Creepy McCall.
What up?
And,
how's it going, guys?
We seem to usually get some pretty good guests on the show, and we are not
some cool friends.
We are not failing to bring in another. We have yet another former champion from the UFC, former light heavyweight champion, making his middleweight debut. Welcome none other than Rashad Evans to the show. Rashad, how's it going, sir?
What's up, Betty?
Oh, man, it's going pretty good, man. It's going really good. Just, about 10 days out right now, so just final preparations, making sure that my body feels right, get my weight down, in a way that I'm not going to have to worry about a fight week, and just trying to embrace the moment. You know how it is when you prepare for a moment for so long, and then it's finally here, and then you start to overthink it a bit.
Yeah, I think there's no one else in the sport, let alone the business as a whole, that knows exactly what I'm feeling besides you. You've had a couple fights build up, and there's really it's only me and you. Nobody else understands what this feels like, and it's horrible. Oh God, I just want to fight. You just want to get it done.
It's such a mental thing, but at the end of the day, you just got to go out there and just do it, and just what I've learned more than anything, just from going through the process so many times, is just try to enjoy it as much as possible, because even when you feel like you're stressing and stuff like that, those are the things you miss the most when you can't do it anymore.
Exactly.
You need to learn to enjoy the journey, not just a destination,
yes.
right?
I tell you that, man. Just coming from where I was at just a couple months ago when I was supposed to fight Tim Kennedy and then fight him again in Toronto, and I didn't get the clear by the medical, didn't get my license. It was pretty scary for me, and they were telling me that I may never fight again.
You're a guy that I've always looked at and thought to myself, man, like he's an undersized. Well, first of all, you won tough as a heavyweight. You fought Brad Imes. You won a split decision. Was that at Hard Rock, I believe, the final for that show?
Yeah, it was a Hard Rock Vegas.
I was there. I remember that show. I remember hanging out and training with you guys before the finals that week. I'm showing Ian now this picture of you.
Goddamn, you look good, man.
He looks ripped, right? The guy looks like a bodybuilder.
Now, has Daryl been helping you out at all? Because Daryl's changed my camp up completely, and I love him for it, because my body has taken such the least amount of damage I've ever had in a camp.
Yeah,
and I mean, Daryl's really changed some stuff up for me, and it's it's changed my whole outlook on training. I love it.
Yeah, Daryl definitely changed our mind too. We communicate every single day, and whatever. If he can't come during camp, then he'll send me videos and stuff like that. But we're always in constant communication about just the training regimen, the work to rest ratio, where I should be as far as my running and things like that, just to bring my body along. And it's really good too, because one thing about working with a coach who's so far away is the fact that it puts a lot of accountability on your shoulders,
Yeah.
And that's one thing I felt like I got out of, and I've relied too much on other people, and I really stopped trusting myself, because I was letting everyone else do everything for me. When you let everyone do everything else for you, it kind of dulls your senses, and it kind of takes away that dog that you have inside, because at the end of the day, this is a fight sport where you're the only one inside the octagon. And you can't lean on your coach, because you're going to be taking those blows. So if you don't have the confidence in yourself and you haven't built it up during training, then it's not going to come on fight night.
Exactly, and that's also a big thing that I've never done cardio. I stopped running in high school because it hurt me too much. I swam a little bit, but I got my cardio through just working out, doing all my drilling and doing all my my sparring and all my different stuff that I do, and my strength conditioning. But I've really just sat back, and I do 3 days a week in the pool with the hydro bells, of different varying in lengths and speeds and bursting and stuff. But that has made my aerobic base and my anaerobic base and everything so much broader and zero impact on my body. It's just incredible.
Yes.
Well, I want to know.
I love the water workouts.
Yeah.
I love them.
Okay, so you do, because we had Tyron on the other day, and he was like, "Yo, I'm black. I'm not doing nothing in the pool." Like, he straight up. Tyron's hilarious. He was like, "Yeah, that stuff's all good for you, but I can't really swim very well, and I'm not really gonna try."
Bro, you get a floaty belt on. You get to wear floaties.
Yeah, you wear a floaty belt. See. I mean, he is kind of
he's pretty dense.
Stacked with muscle, so he don't float too well. So
Yeah, for sure.
I can see where he might be a little afraid of that.
Tyron,
Living in South Florida, I had to learn. You got to learn to swim, boy.
Exactly.
Too much water on. That's not how to
stay away from the Gators. But I want to go back. I want to go back to the weight thing. So you won the Ultimate Fighter 2 as a heavyweight against one of the biggest guys to probably ever be in the Ultimate Fighter, Brad Imes. And then as you went down to light heavyweight, you looked in good shape. But I remember I always was looking at you thinking, I think he could make 85. Yeah. And was that always in the back of your head, or not until recently, Rashad?
Nah, not really till recently, until I really started to, it seemed like the landscape kind of changed at the division. You know what I'm saying? I think that, John Jones, was really like, bringing in just like a different type of athlete at the 205 division. And slowly but surely, a lot of those guys got bigger and bigger, and they were getting stronger and stronger. And I never seen myself as the little guy. I never seen myself in that way, because I knew when I went in there, I was able to hold my own no matter how big the person was. So I never seen myself in that role. But then, I wasn't able to physically dominate like I used to at one point. And I'm just like, man, I'm getting kind of, I don't know, so something's happening here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys, it's just not going to where it used to. Maybe I'm getting older and weaker, or these guys are getting bigger and stronger. One of the two, but either or, it's not looking good for me. So I got to make a choice.
Yeah, the size of the athlete is just different now. It's interesting.
I was going to say, so Rashad, do you feel that as the athletes get better and everyone's closer skill wise, that the size makes more and more of a difference as we're moving forward?
100%. Because when I was first starting off, we were still kind of fading out more of like the discipline base. You know what I'm saying? You can still find, I can find a guy who is more of a striker, and I can pretty much out wrestle him and rely on my wrestling and stuff like that. But now everybody does everything so well, and you can't just fall back on the fact that you might be a better wrestler, because you might be a better wrestler than a guy, but then the fact that the guy may have some really good sprawls and really good takedown defense, and then pretty soon that your wrestling is, null and void, and then you have to worry about, all the other things, and then that's when all the other attributes come into play, and size is definitely one of them. Size and strength and all those things that makes it hard when you gotta go for 15 to 25 minutes.
Yeah, understood. So was it not until the last couple fights, until you recently fought Bader or Glover, that you were like, okay, I'm going to move down to middleweight?
Yeah, I hung on a little bit longer than I should in the weight class, just because I was just like, I didn't want to get my ass whooped and then have to drop down. Like, I only, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to get whooped out of the weight class. But, pride I had to put the pride aside and say, you know what? I know I got beat twice in a row, and I lost some tough guys, but at the end of the day, I don't want to lose again, and I definitely don't want to, and I definitely want to feel going into the fight that, I'm, physically dominant and strong, and I can compete with these guys on a physical basis first and foremost. So I was like, put your pride aside and just drop to 85. You know what? You took 2 hard losses in a row, but it's time to dust it off and just get back at it.
Sometimes you need to just make a change in your life.
Yeah,
and that's what I did with my training camp. I needed to change.
Yeah.
There was no hard feelings. I still talk to my old training partners and coaches. I just needed to change.
And that's one thing that that I really had to do too. I really had to take a step back from the whole like Black Zillions thing and everything like that around that whole issue, just to focus on me. And I feel like at one point I almost become too consumed, or the brand and identity of the Black Zillions, it was too taxing on who I was individually speaking. And granted, I appreciate the fact that I was able to, start a gym and have so many good guys come up, alongside me and things like that, and help out these guys' career. But at the end of the day, I got to do what I got to do before the car runs out of gas and get further down the street as I can before, it's over. You know what I'm saying? So I got to do what I got to do for myself. And I feel like sometimes when you put so much energy into one thing that really doesn't benefit you or help you out in the area, then you kind of just waste your time when it comes down to it, because time is the only thing we got in this world. And you know what I'm saying? You don't get no redos and none of this.
So what is the situation with your training camp now? Rashad?
Hello?
You hear me? Rashad? Did we lose you?
Hello.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Rashad, you still there? All right, hold on.
Hello.
Rashad, can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, so I'll start over. So, Rashad, what exactly is the situation with your training camp now? Who are you working with?
I'm still pretty much working with the same team, same exact team, except that we're in a different location, and we don't go by Black Zillions. We don't really have a name, to be honest. They still have the Black Zillion camp, like Neil Melanson's the head coach, and Tyrone Spong is the striking coach, and Danilo Villafort is the judo coach. And, they still got their thing going on. But what happened was, so the gym was in Boca Raton, and then there was some talk of the gym moving. At the same time, Henry was thinking of going his own separate way because him and, Glenn Robinson weren't getting along, and he just kind of wanted to do something for himself. And it was kind of like the best for both situations if they went in their own direction. So when the gym that we were supposed to move into with the Black Zillions didn't get opened up, they went to a temporary gym. And something happened with the temporary gym where it was some kind of like situation where, I don't know, they weren't really welcome, and then they were welcome, and it was kind of a strange handing over of going to different gyms. So a lot of guys were left in limbo. So most of the guys went to Henry's gym, and which is probably about 25 minutes north. And some of the guys stayed at the Black Zillions gym, or what was supposed to be the Black Zillions gym. And some of those guys felt comfortable training there, and how fighters are. Some people don't, gel with other people, and there's different cliques on the team. So, certain cliques stayed with the Black Zillions, and then other clique just went to Henry Hoof's gym.
Understood.
Guys who mostly train with Henry Hoof follow Henry Hoof.
Yes,
But
which
before,
makes a lot of sense.
Before all of that, like before all of the whole team thing and everything like that, I was, for the Tim Kennedy camp, I pretty much did a lot of my training by myself. I went to Vitor Belfort's gym a lot. I trained alongside Vitor and Gregory Rodriguez.
Is that the Cuban? Is that the Cuban boxing coach, Gregory Rodriguez?
Hello?
Is that the Cuban coach?
Yeah. No, that's not the Cuban coach, but he was there. That's Pedro Diaz, the Cuban coach.
Yeah, Pedro Diaz.
But yeah, I was kind of feeling like even before the whole team kind of went through this little metamorphosis, that I needed to just kind of cut away and do what I need to do for myself. You know what I'm saying? Because
eventually you got to look out for yourself.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be like, hey, I'm on this team, but at the end of the day, like, shit, I'm the one who got to get in his cage, and you know what I'm saying? I got to make sure I got to do what I need to do for myself.
Yeah, nobody blames you for that. So, another question I have is, was it frustrating seeing Tim Kennedy when he fought? Because I bet you were like, man, that would have been a great fight to make my debut at middleweight. Or did you not think that way?
Yeah, when I watched the fight, I was like, damn. I would have
looked impressive as fuck.
I would have had some fun on that one.
I think that Tim probably would have been a different fighter if he would have fought me when he fought me, just because I feel like when he got pushed to Toronto card, I felt like he may have overtrained, and that's a really hard thing to kind of balance your training out, because you peak yourself to fight in 8 weeks, and then they tell you that you got 2.5, 3 weeks to wait. Yeah. So then you have to try to find a way to prolong, but you only peak one time. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I think that he may have peaked a couple weeks before he actually fought in Toronto.
Understood.
And I never really thought about that, but that's so true. And I mean, it was pretty evident that he did not look good in that.
He didn't look like himself for sure.
No, he didn't look like himself.
Not at all.
And not to take anything away from Calvin, because Calvin is a little monster
he's a badass
in his own rights. But I just think that Tim physically didn't give himself the best chances because he may have overtrained himself.
Yeah.
So, Rashad, I want to know one other thing. Are you still working real closely with Tyrone Spong? Because I know you've developed a really good relationship with him over the years.
Yeah, Tyrone's my brother, man. He'll be in my corner. We still work together, and he still helps me out. And we're like brothers, man. He's doing his thing in boxing, and he's gonna make a big splash this year with the whole boxing team.
Is he going to straight boxing now?
Yeah, straight boxing. He was doing MMA for a while and trying to do MMA and kickboxing, but when your body's not used to what we do in MMA, it's really hard to play catch up. It really is because, he's a really explosive and strong athlete. And in some positions, you don't really have to explode or be, too aggressive in MMA because then that's when you hurt yourself or you get yourself out of position and it can really bang up your body if you don't know how to do the flow. And teaching somebody to flow after they're in their mid-20s, and
used
they're
to crushing
used
things.
to one discipline is very difficult, and it was difficult for his body. And he's just like, you know what? I'm gonna probably hurt myself before I get as good as I need to be in MMA. So he just chose boxing.
I mean, he's
natural craft.
He's already so developed as a striker.
Exactly.
It's like, why not just run with what you're good at?
He's such in rare form in that discipline that why change it?
I've trained with him, and he's punched me before, and it's not funny.
Yeah, he hits ridiculously hard, and now he's like on another level training with Pedro Diaz. Pedro Diaz got him just like in killer mode. Like
nice.
he's a beast.
Nice, can't wait
to.
I'm sure
he gets him training. Like he gets him up at 5, 7 a.m. and he's running training. I'm just like, man, I don't know if I can wake up that early.
Let me know how that goes, guys.
Boxing's different.
They invited me to come train. I'm just like, dude, I can't. I mentally just can't do it. I went a couple times, and I was like, man, this ain't for me.
Did you tell him the gym will still be there at 9 a.m.?
Yeah, that's what like for me. I'm a big person. Like I gotta feel good to train. I'm 37 years old. I want to walk into the gym. I want to be smiling. I want to have a great time. And it's not always going to be that way the whole through training. But at least initially, if I walk through the door with a smile on my face, the prospects of whatever training may bring is going to be okay. But I can't walk into the gym at 5 a.m. talking about let's grind and pissed off mood.
I'm with you.
That won't go well.
I'm with you 100%, sir. So let's move on. Let's talk about your upcoming matchup, March 4th.
Yes.
You're cleared to fight
4th.
medically. You're going to see you in Las Vegas, the T-Mobile Arena. Now, you're on the main card. Your opponent is Daniel Kelly, who is a guy who's kind of grinded out a couple wins lately, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely grinded out a couple wins, and he's somebody who's very underwhelming to watch. And those are the dangerous guys. Those are the guys that you look at and like, man, he sucks. I don't need to train too hard for him. But then you go in there, and then he brings that other guy out, and you're like, holy shit, I see why this guy's 5-1, and he's grinding out these wins just because he's one of those guys who technically doesn't look good, but at the same time he's got that mindset that a lot of people don't have when it comes to fighting and competing.
I call it the Jake Shields effect. The I refuse to lose. Like, exactly. I'm gonna win. I don't care how.
Find a way to get it done.
Yeah, like I seen this guy fight. I seen Kelly fight, and it's like he doesn't look great anywhere, and he just somehow makes it happen. And you're like, I don't know how he did it, but he did.
Like out of nowhere, like he clenches victory out of the jaws of defeat, like consistently. And I never seen nobody who does it like him. And I'm just like, wow. That right there is
a
reason to just give much respect for. But it's a good fight for me to get used to the 185 division. I mean, there's a lot of tough guys to face in that division, but I don't mind taking a fight with a lesser known guy who has who's going to push me because he sees me as that title fight. He sees me as that big name. And he's going to train for me, and he's going to bring his best. So it's going to make me bring mine. So I'm excited about it.
Well, he's been KO'd before. He was KO'd by Sam Alvey. So, I mean, you know it's possible. You know your striking is on another level that he's probably not had to deal with before. So I would imagine, you're on the main card. You're healthy. You're cleared. This is your debut at 185. You got to be feeling pretty good going into this.
I really am. And, it sounds – I hate to do the whole like cliche, like, oh, it never felt so good before. I mean, I've said that shit before and I got knocked out before after saying it. So, I'm just, I can speak just from a mindset of just being really happy and just really excited to compete and just really, I'm in Vegas. I'm going to be fighting and I'm going to be doing what I love. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I can speak from. And, I'm going to let my fighting do the talking for me, man. I don't want to go in there and say I'm going to do this and do that. I'll just go out there and just let my fighting do the talking for me.
Well, that leads me into my next question I want to ask you, Rashad, is after some of the, the huge fights, the title fights, the fights with Forrest Griffin, the fights with Lyoto Machida, you've had really big ups and downs, big main events, and big grudge matches with people like John Jones, and Rampage, where it was so emotional. So I mean, and I know it's a cliche once again, but it seems like as we get older, we run into all these cliches all day long. Are you enjoying yourself more and feeling more relaxed and just feeling the moment now more because you've been through all these ups and downs and had all these emotions in the past?
Yeah, I really am. I'm seeing the sport a lot different than I have before. And, when you're in a position where you've been to the top and you face some of the biggest competition and you've had your name on the biggest stage, and then you've been to the lows. You've been to the lowest of the lows, and you've had people talk to you like you were never shit. You know what I'm saying? And you just gotta understand and really get a good grasp of who you are as a person and as a competitor, and ultimately what you want to do. What is your goal when you compete? And it has to be above everything else. It has to be above everything that anyone can ever get you by patting you on the back or saying you this or saying you that. It has to be something that you really, really that really resonates with who you are from a spiritual level. So I just am thankful, and I'm very glad I get the opportunity to go out there and fight again. And I feel like I'm in great shape. I feel like I really put the time and work in, but only time will tell what these results would bring. But, if you ask me now, I feel like a killer, and I plan to go out there and do what killers do, which is kill.
That's the exact kind of attitude that I've had this whole time. I just feel thankful to be. I mean, granted, I haven't got the chance to do it yet, but I totally get what you're saying. You it's just at this point in your career and in my career, but I've been fighting since I was 18 professionally. It's like it's been a long time, and that's longer than most people in the UFC, and like most people don't know that about me, but it's been a long time. So I'm just grateful to be here and still be looked at as one of the best people on the planet, and still kind of, like I get so much credit, even though I haven't been able to show the world really truly how good I really am. And even the fact that maybe my body's, shutting down on me now, but I am in incredible shape. I am beating the shit out of everybody in the gym. I look really good in the gym, but it's, I just can't wait to be able to perform one day. Finally.
That's exactly how I feel, man. That's exactly how I feel. And, it's been going through this whole journey of everything, the knee injuries, the disappointing losses, two in a row, aspects, disappointments in my personal life and everything like that. It just made me a stronger person, and it's really, at times I was like, man, why is this happening to me? But like my mother would say, why wouldn't it happen to you? Who are you that it can't happen to you? So you just take the lumps and you just know that you're tough enough to keep on going, and that's where I'm at. I know that I'm tough enough no matter what happens, no matter what the situation is, I'll be okay.
Yeah, at the end
that's what I tell myself. No matter how I feel, no matter what happens in this fight, I'm going to be okay, no matter what.
Well, it's like Randy Couture says, if the worst thing you've ever gone through in life is losing a fight or two, then you're doing all right.
Oh, I know. Randy's the man. He actually gave me some really good some advice before I fought Chuck Liddell, and it was along those lines. You know, he said, just make friends with the worst outcome. And then once you make friends with the worst outcome, you have nothing to fear.
Yeah,
Man,
Go and fight.
He is the kind of guy who will just like drop knowledge on you. And you're like, damn, you're awesome.
Yeah,
You're so fucking cool, man.
He's the absolute best with that. Absolute best.
Rashad, I want to know, this is your first fight at middleweight. Do you foresee a run at the middleweight title picture?
Yeah,
It's pretty open right now.
I don't compete just for a little participation ribbon. You know what I'm saying? I want to go for it, and that's the only way that I know how to visually put it in my mind when I'm putting myself through hours of training that I really don't want to do. Is that I want to be the best, and that's not going to change whether I'm at light heavyweight or middleweight. And at middleweight, I want to definitely go and make a run at it. And I feel with each performance, I grow and I get better and better. And I want to see what I can put together before I decide to call it quits.
Awesome,
Yeah.
Rashad. Well, man, I don't know. I mean, out of we've had world champions on the show a bunch of times. We had all kinds of great fighters, but man, nobody sounds like they're more centered in a better place than you. And I'm not lying.
Yeah, very true.
Well, I thank you. I appreciate that, man.
Hey,
I feel good. Man.
And you're the young dog in this fight because Daniel Kelly's 39.
Yeah, I know. I'm the young dog.
Exactly.
It must be
I like
nice.
that.
Did you think about that?
Nah, I thought about it a couple times, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see how it actually goes in the fight, man. He could be one of those old guys who really hasn't taken too much damage. I mean, so we'll see.
Well, hopefully you'll give him some of that. Rashad, before we go, how do people find you on social media, and how can people find you online?
You can find me at Sugar Rashad Evans, and that's on Twitter and on Instagram.
SUGA.
At Sugar Rashad Evans. I really need to get better at all my social media. I kind of pulled away from that too. I just get kind of tired of listening to the world.
Yeah, it gets hard sometimes.
Yeah, it's been brutal on some people these days, but that's the nature of the internet. Well, you can just post on there and share what's going on with you. You don't got to pay attention to nobody else.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But that's how you find me. And anybody hit me up, I'm a real guy, so hit me up. I'll speak.
All right, everybody go find and follow. Don't just check him out. Make sure you hit that follow button at Sugar Rashad Evans. And Rashad, you know what, man, since the first day I met you back when you were getting ready for the Ultimate Fighter finale, you've always been a super down-to-earth person. I really appreciate you. And you're also a fellow Gladiator Challenge title holder. Do you still have that belt in your house? Because I got mine.
Yeah, I still got mine too.
We all fought at Indian casinos in the middle of nowhere sometime, didn't we?
Yeah, but those are the best fights, man.
Fuck
those are the best fights. I would enter a tournament, have no idea who I'm fighting, and fight like 3 fights, and like, oh, okay,
cool.
And nowadays I got to know in 8 weeks advance I'm fighting one person. Think about that.
It was gangster back then. We fought in a cage the size of a kitchen.
Yeah, it was. That's crazy.
All right.
That's crazy. All right, guys. Take care, man.
Good talking to you, man.
Rashad Evans.
To you, Ian.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks so much for coming on. We hope to have you on. Maybe after the fight, we'll hit you up, sir.
All right, cool. Thank you, guys.
Welcome back to American Animals. I'm Erik Apple. That's Ian McCall, and we are going to talk about. We've got a big card upcoming here in a few weeks.
So much stuff to talk about.
UFC 209 coming up. That is the headliner.
Open up my UFC app
of Tyron Woodley versus Stephen Warren.
I like to call it the
Thompson.
Khabib Tony Ferguson fight.
Yeah, that's a pretty big fight. Let's start from the bottom, moving up. Some of the first fighters that really grabbed my attention. Well,
Luke Sanders and Yuri Alcantara.
That's a pretty big fight.
Did you see what Yuri did to Brad Pickett in the last fight?
Yes.
He is a fucking buzzsaw. That dude is a badass. So fucking good when he's on point. Sometimes he looks like shit. It happens to us sometimes. But that dude can fucking boogie when it comes time. When he's on point, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
It's gonna be a great fight to start off the prelims on Fox Sports 1.
Yes.
Let's move to the main card. Let's talk about the real meat of this, man. Mark Hunt and Alistair Overeem. Now this is a fight.
Give you a fucking boner for fights, and you're stupid.
Well, in more ways than one, because remember, Mark Hunt is still in the middle of his lawsuit with the UFC.
Yeah.
In regards to the experience that he had with Brock Lesnar failing a couple different BED tests and getting suspended and fined by USADA in the UFC. Pretty crazy. Now, his specific thing was, if I'm suing you because you let someone fight me who's on steroids, and if it happens again, I'm going to sue you and the fighter. He said next time I'm going to sue the fighter.
And
so the person they give up against is someone who's been busted multiple times and is on horse meat and just fucking living on fucking DECA and Winchell and who knows what else. And this is not me bagging. I mean,
the Uberim.
I don't think anything's wrong with Alistair, but let's just be real here. The guy is fucking
down on steroids.
Guy was on everything but roller skates there for a while. So this is going to be an interesting fight. I believe they fought in K1 before, didn't they?
I don't know if they ever fought in K1. That's a good question.
TJ, do you know the answer to that question?
What's K1?
Yeah, exactly. So if you don't know what K1 is, fuck you. But also, here's a history lesson. It was the old school. Let's go back to now. Glory. You ever watch Glory kickboxing? It's old school. What Glory wishes it was. And Glory's awesome. It was old school, giant heavyweights clubbing the fuck out of each other, who were very good. You have Ernesto Hoost and Peter A. Yurts and Alistair Overeem and Badahari.
Remember that Mighty Mo Kola Kalai fight? Remember that little...
Cow Kalai?
Oh my God, that was amazing. Yeah, that was so sweet.
You had a fucking guy, Cow Kalai, who fights at 170 pounds, jumping head kick Mighty Mo, who is a 300 and something pound Samoan dude who knocks motherfuckers out. He jump kicked him in the head, and then it was like, just timber! Bang! It was amazing. Remy Bonjowski.
Yeah, Remy was
fucking
awesome.
Sammy Schilt.
K1 was fucking awesome.
K1 Max, this is what serial kickboxing enthusiasts like myself grew up watching. And Mark Hunt and Alistair Overeem were both champions in K1.
So they fought before. This was in Dream. You remember Alistair won by, he had a quick Americana, only a minute and 11 seconds.
Yeah.
Now that was before Mark knew how to fight on the ground.
Yes.
And that was at a time, that was in the middle of Mark's 6-fight losing streak. Remember? He had all these wins, and then he lost to Barnett. Well, let's look at the guys he fought. Barnett, Fedor, Overeem, Melvin Manhoef, Gegard Mousasi. And then Sean McCorkle. I can't believe he lost to Sean McCorkle in his UFC debut. Then he came back and won 4 in a row.
Sean McCorkle just took him down, I think, right?
Who did?
Sean McCorkle take him down?
Yeah, I can't remember. But
he took him down. Like Hunt was a fish out of water for whatever reason. It was his first UFC fight. And it was on the prelims. Think about that. In the prelims in Indianapolis.
It's crazy. But now, I mean, man, he knows what to do on the ground now. So this is going to be a better fight. I'm excited to see
enough
it.
Not to go to the ground.
And, now that he's not Ubereem anymore, he's the Econoreem.
Yes.
I could see him not really wanting to take the big shots and trying to bang with Hunt. I mean, before when he was gigantic, Alistair might have been more confident.
Of course.
I don't know if he'll want to bang with Mark these days.
No one wants to bang with Mark Hunt. And the thing is that's a man that's never done fucking steroids. So his meter of things changing, his physical abilities changing or fluctuating are not going to do that.
You say that with a lot of confidence. I'm not doubting you. I'm just noting that you say that very confidently without really. I mean, how do you?
I could be wrong, but he just
you wouldn't think. I wouldn't think.
I wouldn't think. He just didn't. And it's not even so much about how he looks. It's just the kind of person he is. But then again, I'm not fucking really good friends with him, so I could be full of shit. I could be talking to my ass right now, like usual.
I take his word for it. I'm not going to call him a liar.
Either way, yeah, exactly. I don't want to fucking call him a liar. But it's going to be a rad fight. Alistair is so good technically, and now that he's lighter and he's not as big, his shots are cleaner. He's not so bulky, and he moves more smooth. And fight smarter, and then you have Mark Hunt, who is so fucking smart, especially on the feet. If you don't understand really how technical he is, because he's just kind of a pudgy dude, just watch the way he moves his head and watch the way he misses, and then watch the way it'll break down. He watches you punch, and if he doesn't make you miss the first time, it's just at range. So there was no point. It's just you're trying to find your range.
Yeah.
Once you get in range, you miss. Okay, and the next one, he's making the same punch miss, but he's punching off it. It's like the sequence of how he does everything is beautiful, and it's perfect.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. Now this fight, why is this on the main card? David Tamer and Lando Venata is coming up. That's higher on the card than Mark Hunt and Alistair Overeem. That one kind of surprises me.
I have no idea.
I don't know too much about those guys, so we can go back to that. I wonder if you have something to say.
Where is it? Is it on the main card? Or?
Yeah,
okay.
David Teemer and Lando Venata.
So the reason it's probably that way is Overeem and Hunt is at the
They want to start it off.
Is at the pay-per-view opener.
Yeah. I've heard of Venata. I don't know who Timer is.
I've heard of him too, but it's just interesting.
Huh. But then we have
Rashad Evans and Daniel Kelly.
Yeah.
We had Rashad on the show earlier today. Man, Rashad moving down to middleweight. He looks ripped, looks in shape, and he sounds happy as could be.
Exactly. And he's fighting a tough, durable guy who's 12-1. I mean, you don't get to 12-1 by sucking. So, and he's fought in the UFC. I don't know how many fights, but he's good enough, and Rashad respects that. So it's good to hear.
It's going to be exciting. Kelly is a guy who is a gamer. He's a survivor, finds a way to win. I don't know if that's going to work out against a former light heavyweight champion,
somebody who is this elite.
Somebody who has great wrestling and really good striking. Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Was that my echo?
Yes.
That was cool. Let's move on.
Then we have
Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Yes.
And Tony Ferguson. This is what people have been waiting for a long time.
I can tell you a story real quick.
Okay.
So the Russians. I don't get along with Khabib's manager Ali because he's a fucking idiot. And he tried to fight me at weigh-ins, which is fucking hilarious. Which is just awesome. But besides that fact, I'm not going to give him any attention. The Russians all called me out in the sauna. It was fucking awesome. There's always like 30 of them together, and they weren't like trying to fight me. They just were like just fucking all in there and just all fucking like 20 of them packed in the sauna, and they're fucking cool. Even Khabib was like, okay, we don't need to talk about this right. You're cutting weight. He's like, I don't want to fuck with you. He's like, you make weight. And I'm like, thank you. I'm like, we can argue. I don't mind arguing with you. It's fine. But it's just a reason why I don't like somebody. It's no big deal. But it's just so funny, guys. Because the Russians are fucking so interesting. Like just the way they do everything, and they're fucking hilarious. And I love how they travel in packs. Like, and they're all fucking savages.
Oh, they're
badasses. Every single one of them, I just look around and I was like, dude, these dudes are down for their shit. And just because I don't like their agent, they want to fucking come and just straight fucking check me.
Well, listen. Ali told me when he got all mad a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago. He told me, he said, when I see Ian, I'm gonna fucking tell him. So Ali, fair play. Yeah, you're a man of your word.
He did. But if I say you're a fucking, if I call you a terrorist and then you come terrorize me when I'm at fucking weigh-ins, you're not making a good point for yourself. And for one, you can't beat me up. So stop saying that. He was just fucking.
I laughed when I heard that. I literally thought to myself, like, well, he said he's going to do it, and he did. Okay.
And I didn't even bring this up on any other radio show. It's just I figure he got mad at you because he listens to this. So you came up to me at. Not only are you representing the guy I was supposed to fight, and I don't know, maybe he did that on purpose because
he didn't represent Jared.
No, he did.
No, he's represented by Monty Cox.
They were fucking hanging out together and saying they were represented. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So they were like trying to play games with me, but then you can't fuck with me mentally. So if you look at Jared's fucking page, the kid is obsessed with me. It's a little weird. But then I laugh it all off because of course I'm like, yeah, he's on a list. If you're on a list for being a terrorist, you're a fucking terrorist in my eyes. We're not friends. Like, you can't just tell me you're going to sue me. Like, oh, he's going to sue you. I'm like, bitch, you can't sue me. Like, you can't fucking sue me for you being on a list for being a fucking terrorist. So if you can get off the list, then we can talk about it. But then he tried to fight me at fucking weigh-ins, and I was like, dude.
Did somebody actually have to stop him from?
Well, I was laying on the ground laughing. I was actually laying on the ground and looking behind me. So I'm laughing at it with my hands over my head. Like, I'm like, who the fuck? Like, and I just look and I see him and I start laughing. I'm like, I was just laughing. And then UFC shut him up and send him away somewhere else. But you can't come out. For one, you can't beat me up. Like, let's get this straight. Two, why are you going to try and fuck with me at weigh-ins? Like, in front of all the UFC people? Like, it's so tacky, bro. Get a life.
No, I know, 100%. It's funny.
And I just laugh because I'm like, bro, you're fucking silly.
I've been through worse, is whatever.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of you. Like,
so talking about the fight, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib is
a fucking savage.
A savage, and he's from Dagestan, which should tell you a lot, which means he's an absolute killer. This fight is going to be huge. You know, one thing that really stands out to me.
Those could be I think they're the toughest people on the planet.
Yeah.
For sure.
One thing that stands out to me is Tony Ferguson has a 6-inch longer reach. Mm-hmm. So, man, on the feet,
arms like fucking scissors.
Yeah. So, man, Khabib is really going to be at a disadvantage while they're on the feet.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not trying to knock his stand-up, but, man, when you're fighting a guy who is a great kickboxer, a great boxer, and has the pace that Tony does and that much reach, 6 inches of reach is a lot.
And height. Well, see,
He's only 2 inches taller, only 1 inch taller according to the UFC's website.
The one thing I noticed at Khabib is to understand how strong he is, to the guys he's controlled, like ragdolled, like Michael Johnson and shit. He's not that big of a guy. Like,
That's what you said.
I mean, we were talking in a fucking sauna together, in like a heated conversation, and he's not that fucking big of a guy. But god damn, that dude's tough, and the shit he does to people is fucking incredible. So it's gonna be
terrifying.
I think it's gonna be if Tony can catch Khabib coming in, closing the distance, and maybe not rock him enough to get the transition going, because Tony catches you with all those crazy fucking submissions he's got in transition. He's got those long-ass arms, great wrestling defense, jiu-jitsu off his back, so he hits the darces and all that stuff from the transitional stuff, and I think that's where he could catch Khabib.
I have a question. This is an interim lightweight title fight.
Yes.
So that means it's 5 rounds.
Yes.
Great. I really would like to see this be 5 rounds,
exactly.
not 3.
That's a 5-round fight.
Great.
But if you get someone on top of you like Khabib, who's that fucking good at controlling you and pounding the fuck out of you, and you're not strong enough to deal with that, you're done.
I mean, this is exciting because it's not very often that you see the number 1 guy versus the number 2 guy. So this is great.
Yes.
This is going to be a great
and one
fight.
of them's actually undefeated.
Everyone's talked about it. Yeah. Everyone's waiting for it. It's going to be amazing. There's not really much else to say. It's going to be an awesome fight. I'm really excited for it.
It is such a good fight, man. There's so many variables in that fight. I fucking love it.
Main event, Tyron Woodley, the chosen one, welterweight champion, get out of a rematch with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. They had a draw in their fight before. Tyron won 2 rounds. One of those rounds he won 10-8.
Yeah.
3 rounds, Stephen Thompson won 10-9. It's kind of a fight that I felt like Tyron tried to make a point and try to show that he could stand up with a guy who's a stand-up guy. I think if Tyron would have stuck to wrestling and really been more aggressive, he could have finished the fight.
He could put him on the ground so easily.
I really think so. But Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he moves well, and he understands the distance. He has a couple inch height advantage, and man, he has a reach advantage as well. It's going to be a good fight.
It's who can implement a new game plan.
Well,
I think that we saw Wonderboy do what he does best, and we saw Tyron do something else that I think he could change more.
That's what we talked about before. I thought the last fight was the best outcome that Wonderboy could have hoped for, and it would end up being a draw. I think anything other than the best fight possible for him is going to end up in a loss.
Yeah.
Although exactly. I mean, I don't know the guy. I don't have any problem with him. I'm not trying to count him out. But we're just shooting straight.
We're just telling you how we feel. And this week I could be wrong about fucking everything. Sometimes I am.
And are you going to be in town March 4th?
I don't know. Yeah.
If you're in town, we're going to Holiday again.
Okay. I'm going to be. No, wait a second. In March, I'm going to be in Japan. I have to go to Japan for a week.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
For what?
For the military. I'm going to go out to Okinawa. And hang out with the troops and do a bunch of seminar stuff. I'll be there from the 27th, which is next Monday, I think. Let me see here.
Were you going to tell me that?
I don't know. I just figured it out. Yeah,
Thanks.
So the 27th to the 5th or the 4th. So I'll be gone for a week.
Okay. So you're not going to be in here for Cyborg?
No, I won't be. Well, is that next week? Oh, that is next week.
Yeah.
Well, we got to do it earlier in the week. Or this weekend. Or not. I don't know. But I'm just realizing what I'm doing here. But March 4th I won't be here. Shit.
So you leave the 27th?
Yes.
Okay. That's next Monday. So Ian's not going to be here next week. I'm going to have to I'm going to find another co-host to hang out with Chris Cyborg.
We can do that.
All right.
Who should we bring in? I'm trying to think.
Well, you know what? I think we're done.
Perfect.
Well, we had a good show today. TJ, thanks so much.
Yes.
Rashad Evans, thank you very much, and good luck on March 4th.
I need some food.
All kinds of MMA news and previews to come up with.
We should go to Father's office.
Okay, whatever you want. I'm Erik Apple. That's Ian McCall. Thanks for listening to American Animals. Make sure you find us at 2 American Animals on all social media, including YouTube. And make sure you go to our website, www.2americananimals.com. Thanks to Wilner and O'Reilly.
Yes.
The Underground, BJPenn.com. We'll see you next week.
The preceding podcast was a TJ DeSantis production. Comments, questions, and inquiries can be directed to DeSantisProd@gmail.com.
This podcast was a presentation of LightUpMedia.fm.